Learn English through stories. Intermediate English. The Clever Shoemaker. What's more powerful, muscle or mind? In a world where greed waits in the shadows, one poor shoemaker must outsmart danger with nothing but his wits. His clever tricks could save his life, protect his family, and change his fortune forever. Read along and find out what happens next. The Poor Shoemaker. In a quiet village, where the cobblestones whispered tales of better days, lived a shoemaker named Ilara and his wife, Anya. Their hands, though skilled, were often idle, for the villagers had little coin for new shoes. Each evening they would share a meagre meal, their love a silent promise of a brighter dawn. Journey to the city. I must go to the city, Ilara declared one morning, his voice firm with resolve. There, my craft will be valued, and I can earn enough to bring comfort back to our home. Anya, her heart a mix of fear and hope, packed him a small bag with bread and cheese, her eyes mirroring the morning mist. The bustling city. The city was a cacophony of sounds and a kaleidoscope of colours, the clatter of carriage wheels on stone, the shouts of merchants and the scent of exotic spices filled the air. For a simple shoemaker, it was a world away from his quiet village, a daunting yet promising new chapter in his life. Shoes of quality. Ilara found a small corner in a bustling market and set up his humble stall. His hands, guided by years of practice, worked magic with leather and thread. The city folk, accustomed to mass-produced wares, were captivated by the quality and artistry of his shoes. Soon, a steady stream of customers flocked to his stall. Hard work, gold earned. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Ilara worked tirelessly, his thoughts always on Anya and their home. He saved every spare coin, his small leather pouch growing heavier with each passing day. Finally, the day came when he held a few gleaming gold coins in his hand, a fortune beyond his wildest dreams. The donkey Jasper. With a heart full of joy, Ilara used 2 of his precious coins to purchase a sturdy donkey. He named him Jasper and loaded him with supplies for the journey home. The remaining coins he tucked safely into his pouch, a tangible symbol of his hard work and dedication. Peaceful journey home. The road home was long and winding, snaking through dense forests and over rolling hills. Ilara, with Jasper by his side, felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in the city. The familiar scent of pine and damp earth filled the air, a welcome change from the city's grime and smoke. Thieves on the road. As dusk began to fall, a group of shadowy figures emerged from the trees, their faces obscured by rough-spun hoods. They were thieves, their eyes gleaming with avarice as they spotted the lone traveller. "Your money or your life!" one of them growled, his voice like gravel. A clever trick. A spark of cunning ignited in Ilara's mind. Thinking quickly, he slipped one of his gold coins from his pouch and, unseen by the thieves, tied it to a small bell around Jasper's neck. "My life is worth little," he said, "but my donkey is a marvel." The gold donkey ruse. "This is no ordinary beast," Ilara announced, his voice steady. "He produces gold." With a flourish, he shook Jasper's head, and the hidden coin dropped to the ground with a satisfying clink. The thieves' eyes widened in disbelief, their greed overriding any semblance of caution. Traded for coins. "A gold-producing donkey!" the leader of the thieves exclaimed, his voice filled with avarice. "We'll take him!" They offered Ilara a pittance for the magical animal, which he readily accepted. With a final knowing glance at Jasper, he watched them lead the donkey away, a wry smile playing on his lips. Cleverness brings safety. Ilara, now lighter in load but heavier in coin, continued his journey home. He walked with a spring in his step, his cleverness having saved both his life and his hard-earned money. The thought of reuniting with Anya filled him with a warmth that chased away the evening chill. Homecoming joy. When Ilara finally reached his village, Anya rushed out to greet him, her face a canvas of relief and joy. He embraced her tightly, the scent of her hair a welcome reminder of home. He recounted his adventures, and they laughed together at his clever ruse, their small cottage filled with warmth and happiness. Thieves return in anger. Their joy, however, was short-lived. A few days later, the enraged thieves, having discovered the donkey's true nature, stormed into the village, their faces contorted with fury. They found Ilara in his workshop, and their menacing presence cast a dark shadow over the peaceful scene. Plan with Milo. "You tricked us!" the leader roared, his voice echoing through the small workshop. "Your donkey is worthless!" Ilara, feigning surprise, turned to Anya. "My dear," he said, his voice carrying a hidden message, "please fetch our dog, Milo. Have him call me from the farm." Golden Calves, Deception. Anya, understanding her husband's plan, nodded and left the workshop. A few moments later, their scruffy terrier, Milo, came bounding in, a piece of parchment tied to his collar. Ilara took the note and read it aloud. "Come to the farm at once. The cows are giving birth to golden calves." The talking dog trick. The thieves, their greed once again piqued, stared at the dog in amazement. "A talking dog!" one of them whispered in awe. They forgot their anger, their minds now consumed with the thought of owning such a remarkable creature. They offered Ilara a hefty sum for Milo, which he, after some feigned reluctance, accepted. A time of peace. With the thieves gone, Ilara and Anya enjoyed a period of peace and prosperity. They used the gold to improve their home and their workshop, and their lives were filled with comfort and security. But the shoemaker knew that the thieves, once they discovered the second deception, would return with a vengeance. Seized by the thieves. As expected, the thieves returned, their faces darker than a thundercloud. This time, they would not be fooled. They seized Ilara, bound him, and stuffed him into a large sack. "You'll pay for your tricks," the leader snarled. "We're taking you to the sea." Bound for the sea. On their way to the coast, the thieves, weary from their journey, decided to rest at a small church. They left the sack containing Ilara by the side of the road and went inside to pray for forgiveness for their wicked deeds, a final act of hypocrisy before committing murder. A chance encounter. From inside the sack, Ilara heard the sound of approaching footsteps and the grunting of pigs. It was a swineherd, guiding his flock to the market. "Help!" Ilara cried out. "Let me out of this bag. I am being forced to marry the king's daughter, and I refuse." The swineherd switch. The swineherd, a simple man with dreams of grandeur, couldn't believe his luck. To marry a princess was the stuff of fairy tales. He eagerly agreed to trade places with Ilara, who quickly slipped out of the sack and helped the swineherd climb in. Thrown into the sea. When the thieves returned, they picked up the sack and, without a second thought, threw it into the churning sea. They then spotted Ilara calmly herding a large flock of pigs along the cliffside. "How did you escape?" they cried out in disbelief. "And where did you get all those pigs?" The final trick. "There are more pigs at the bottom of the sea," Ilara said with a mischievous grin. "You just have to tie a stone to yourselves to sink." The thieves, their greed blinding them to the absurdity of the claim, did as he said. They tied heavy stones to their ankles and one by one jumped into the sea, never to be seen again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more fun English lessons.